So there's a lot of things going on, a lot of celebrations going on this time of year. Last week was the birthday of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. Today is the beginning of Hanukkah. The 6th is the feast day for St. Nicholas, who, of course, Santa Claus started with St. Nicholas, who's an actual guy. And the 8th is the birthday of the Buddha. So, there's a lot of things going on. But it's also the beginning of Advent today. And some of you know how much I love Advent. Because I love Advent. Advent is the journey to Christmas. And we start with lighting the first candle, which is for hope or faith. Maybe we light it. Ha! Come on, you can do it. There's something middle there. I didn't just throw it in the curtains, I promise. So Advent is the journey to Christmas. So it's sort of like how Lent gets us ready for Easter, except for we get to celebrate instead of do gloomy things like we do at Easter. So Advent is the journey. And we start with hope. Now, some people don't like the word hope because it seems wishy-washy. I get that. But I think hope is an important beginning place. Because hope is the dream of something more. It's that first spark of understanding that there's something more. You can't have faith without starting with hope. Probably. Hope is that glimmer that says, take the next step. Like when the wise people in the story in the Bible saw something in the sky that to them said, something important is happening, we should go. They could have said, something's happening here. I mean, that's one reaction, right? You can say something, you're like, well, not for me. That's okay. Not everything is for you. But they had a hope in them that this meant something important. Obviously, that means that they wanted something to happen. They were anticipating this, and therefore, what they saw, they followed through. And then, hope becomes faith after we've had the opportunity to see or to, I'm trying to use another word other than hope, right? Sometimes I should have got my thesaurus out. But when we start to walk that path, holding the vision of what we think we want, then it starts to become faith because we start to see demonstrations of it coming to pass. When we talk about our 12th power, our power of faith, it's right next to imagination. It's actually, that's its buddy, is imagination, faith and imagination. You have to see to believe and believe to see, they kind of go together, right? And so hope is the first kind of like the jump start. And I think about like the journey that most of us have taken to come here. And I think about our own star in the sky, which Alaska state flag much, right? Our stars in the sky. And I don't know about you, but when I hear the Alaska's anthem, I get a little tingly. Because it calls to something in me that says this this is the right thing, just like those stars told the wise people that was their thing. There's something in that calls to me. And that's not true for other people. For some people, something else calls to them, and that's good too. And so, we threw all our stuff in a U-Haul when we came here, filled with hope. And I had some faith that it was going to work out because I had some practice in these things. But we all have kind of that story of doing something big, and we hope for the best. We have faith that it'll work out, right? We know it'll work out, but you're not so sure. So when we talk about the journey to Christmas, when we celebrate Advent and when we celebrate Christmas in unity, we're talking about the rebirth or the remembering of that Christ presence, which is in all of us. That same spark of divinity that was in Jesus and all those other people, Muhammad and Buddha and etc., 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 etc. Same spark, called different things, but we call it Christ presence and unity because that's what we do. That's the tradition we came out of, so that's what we call it. But we could call that spark of divinity whatever we wanted, and at this time at Christmas, it's the time that we consciously remember that we are making way for that to be reborn or remembered in us. It's always there. We just sometimes forget, right? So that's why we have a nice 4 Sundays up till Christmas to remember, so we can make way. We can make way to remember that. So, and at the beginning of the journey, we start with hope. We start with faith. We have a map, and we think, okay, this is where we think we're going to go. And that's why we start with hope. And then next week will be peace, and then love, and then joy, because we made it. Woo! And so I saw this quote yesterday from Rabbi Lord Jonathan Sachs. And with it being Hanukkah starting today, I thought a quote from a rabbi seemed appropriate. And he said, "For though my faith is not yours and your faith is not mine, if we're each free to light our own flame, together we can banish some of the darkness of the world." If we are each free to light our own flame, together we can banish some of the darkness of the world. That's the other really great thing about this time of year, is that it's about light. We celebrated Diwali last month. The Hindus and the Jains celebrated Diwali last month, and which is about light, about remembering the light within you. And then we are here doing it some more, and we do it when it's winter time in the northern hemisphere. We remember that we are the light, and we hold the light within us. And the story of Hanukkah is about having faith that the light will hold out, right? That's what the story of Hanukkah is about. And so, how wonderful during this time where some of us might be feeling a little shaken. Yeah, just a little shaken, and that's a normal response to feel discombobulated a little bit. Because what we thought was solid, we discovered maybe it's not as solid as we thought. And that can put you off your game a little bit. And it's okay, and it's normal to feel those things. And, that's why we come together and remember that no matter what's happening in our outside world, no matter how many dishes we're asking to have Santa replace, I don't know if you saw that meme, but, those of you outside looking for something for your Alaska friends' dishes, which I thought was pretty funny. We didn't lose any dishes, which is great because I like my dishes, but it was funny. I guess if you always store your stuff in the dishwasher, that helps. But, no, anyway, we're in this time as a community where all of us have had this experience. Things feel a little discombobulated, and it's normal to feel that way, and yet we can come back to the truth to know that no matter what's happening in our outside, the inside is steady. And that's really what faith is. And it's hard to do that sometimes in the midst of all that, to be like, okay, you know what? I'm feeling a little discombobulated. I think I'll meditate. Yeah. And yet that's exactly what you need to do, right? So that's just the journey that we're all working on, right? And so I invite you, if you're feeling a little discombobulated, to try meditating. Try taking a moment just to gaze at a candle or your Christmas tree or something like that, something that can bring you some peace in the midst of all this. Because we'll make it. We're doing all right. We are doing so well. I got a little sidetracked. I was going there, I just did it in the wrong order. Anyway, whatevs. I did it in the right order, just didn't know that when I wrote it down. So, back to what Rabbi Sachs said, which is that my faith is not yours and your faith is not mine. None of us have the same faith. There are 7 billion different faith traditions. Did you know that? And so our faith is our own. We all have our individual ways that we understand and we express and we practice. And some of them are close enough to other people that we hang out with those people and do things with those people. And that's great. But it's our own journey, right? We're all on our own journey to, like Advent, awaken our divineness, or remember to awaken our divineness. We're all on our own journey. And there's a universality to all of them, which was one of the great things about when we were at the Parliament last month, is that to see how all of these people, these are the head people in some of these faith traditions, they're really all saying pretty much the same thing. We should take care of each other. We should take the time in our individual practices to be connected to God as we know God. Be nice. It's all the same thing. They're all saying the same thing. And that's pretty amazing when you think about it. That these are the core of all of us. Something to remember when you're feeling annoyed by someone who might have a different perspective than you. That somewhere in them they have the same, really that is within all of us, even if we may have put a lot of mud over it. And so I think that's the other part about hope that's about Christmas time, is that even though we've been a little pulled off track here locally, people are sharing, they're caring. When I checked in on Facebook that I was okay, the very next thing is people are looking for help and people are giving help, and there was way more offered for help than there was needs. And that gives me hope, because I know that that's what community is really about. That's who we are as a people. Doing the things like the Santa for Senior, because we take care of each other. That's what we do. Right? And so that is one of the great things about hope, and that's why I'm not going to get rid of the word hope, because it's different than faith, and it's okay. But when we have that belief in each other, we have that belief in the joy, we see what happens at Christmas time. And part of the reason we get so excited about Christmas is because we hope that it's going to really bring upon some of that peace on earth that we're hoping, that we want to have happen, right? We believe it's sometimes hard to have faith that peace on earth is going to happen, but we have hope, right? So that's what it's all about. And so this week, as we are on our journey to Christmas, I invite you to get one of those Advent booklets, because there's a reading every day, and all week it'll be about hope and faith. And at the very beginning of the booklet, there's actually a few little articles about Christmas during rough times. It's like, well done, Jim. And take the time to take care of yourself, to meditate, do the normal things to keep you well in the midst of all of the seeming chaos around us that is extra right now. And that is hope for Christmas.